Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are joining from. Welcome to the new session focused on learning together. So, today I am sharing with you a topic which is known as the circle of competence. This is one of the mental model which I am sharing with you today. And again, it is a model which may help you to avoid problems, identify opportunities for improvement, and also learn from others. So, I welcome you again and thanks for joining the live stream on the Circle of Competence. And as you know, this is a short session of 10 minutes to 15 minutes duration on some concepts which may be helpful in your work and organizational life. So once again, thanks for joining and thanks for all your support. So let us quickly dive in. So as I mentioned, this is a beautiful framework which you can apply in your life in general and organizational life in particular. Now, moving to this specific concept, and this is something which was uh, having an origin way back, and in 1996 it came through a shareholder letter which was issued, which was usually a part of Warren Buffett's investor interactions. So that is where this specific concept is emerging from. And we can see the fundamentals going back to that 1996 shareholder letter. And we all know, especially in organizations, people might have studied more about Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and how they have managed investments for their firm, Berkshire Hathaway. So let us move forward. So again, this was shared from an investor perspective, but we know that this can be applicable not only for investors but also for each one of us. So he is focusing on how can we evaluate a business. That is number one. And for example, as an investor, so for example, if I am taking a decision, how am I evaluating that decision? So that is a simple way in which we can translate it to other sectors. And remember that we may not have expertise in every field. So what can we do? So the concept is we have to review the situations within our circle of competence, our understanding. Now, it is not about the size of the circle, it is about knowing the boundaries. Now, what are the boundaries which we know? And that is vital. So here is an example of what you think you know. So for example, this is sometimes in our regular lives decision making, this is something which we come across. What do you think that's our circle of competence which we think. But when it comes to practice, as we know that what you know may be a small portion of that thought which we had, what we were thinking that, okay, this is my competence, but actual competence may be way smaller. So again, I just want to bring in about our judgments at times, our assumptions, and from where we come to a judgment that we look at a lot like what can happen, and again, remember that any situations will be changing, but the fundamentals of what we are looking may not be changing. So again, there is a story which Charlie Munger is sharing, that he's sharing that a foreign correspondent, after discussing with him, shared that you don't seem smart enough to be good at what you are doing. And the question was, do you have an explanation? Now, the response which Munger shared was, we know the edge of our competency better than most. That's a very worthwhile thing. It is not a competency if you don't know the edge of it. So, what are our boundaries? The edges. And understanding that edges may be very helpful. Now, coming back again, as we can see, how can we apply this in our practices? As we can see, we all have unique abilities, skills, experience that can be used to assess and evaluate opportunities. Identifying that key competency will make us to take informed decision. And we can, again, as we know, avoid risk of loss. So in conclusion, coming to the key aspect, our circle of competence is not fixed, it expands. And we know that as we learn, imagine our 10 years back what we know, and now 10 years ahead of our life what we know. So there is a change always, and our circle of competence can be expanded. So moving ahead, what are some of the actions which we can take? What are some of the actions which we can take? So the first one, as we can see here, identify the boundary. What are my competency boundaries? And how can we do that? Again, these are not having straightaway answers. Explore what works. Second, as we know from the pillar of action number 2, enforce the boundary. Be more self-aware. And again, sometimes we have to take a chance to see if the risk which we are taking is leading to potential reward. And third one, as we have seen, expand the boundary by being a lifelong learner. Go deep to new areas, and so that you can expand the circle as we move forward. So as I mentioned, circle of competence for each persons will be different. It is unique set of skills, knowledge, and experience. We develop over a period of time. We expand as we travel, as we learn, as we read books, as we watch content. So explore that process as we go today, so that we have a higher or a wider circle of competence. So that's the end of today's short session. So I hope you got the concept of mental model of which is known as circle of competence, which again was made famous by Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger through their what we call Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting, which happens in Omaha in Nebraska. And what I have read is that almost 40,000 people from around the world attend this program. These are two legendary investors. And as you can also see some of these recorded online, and they share how they built that investment organization. And in case again you want to have a helping hand on enhancing the circle of competence for you and then within the organization, and in case you want to know more, please be in touch. So thank you again for joining me today to discuss the circle of competence, and I hope this is useful. And I wish you all wonderful holidays, because we are celebrating Eid al-Adha in this part of the world. Stay safe, stay well, and Have a wonderful day. Take care. See you with another topic later.